And welcome back to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. This is the Morning Buzz, and we have our guest, Alex Pallen, right here in the studio.
Thank
Alex,
you so much for having me.
Thanks for being here. Now, as many of you, as some of us know, actually, let's just talk about Alex real quick. So, one, Alex, you know, you are Montclair State's only swimmer and diver. There's an article about you, the Montclarian. How does it feel to be the only one?
Well, you see, I have some girls on the team, which is nice because they'll accompany me in practice and whatnot. But being the only guy, that kind of adds a different aspect to the guys' standpoint and our team alone. So as much as, it's nice to have the swimmers alongside when you're diving, it's just me going up against the other teams with the other guys. So it's if I'm not scoring and getting the best points to beat them, then it's kind of a lose for me. But if I can win, then it's a win-win, and I beat the other team, and then I'll get the most points for us, which is really cool.
Nice. As some of us know, it's incredibly hard to balance athletics at any level of education. I'm sure that it's only heightened at the college level. So how is trying to balance school and athletics been for you this year at least?
Being a college athlete, I would say, has definitely, if one thing, it has taught me how to manage my time, which is really important. And my freshman year of school here, I started off as a music major, and it's a very intense major. I take a lot of classes. So when I joined the team then, it kind of taught me how to manage all my class time, my practice time. I also had a job.
Wow.
So, yeah, sports, having coaches and a team, it's just a combination of a bunch of things that help to manage your time and get you through your days and stuff. So, yeah, being college athletes has helped with a lot of things tremendously.
Nice. Over the past year, NIL has been a massive discussion amongst the world of college athletics. Now that student athletes can profit off their own name, what does that mean to you?
This has been a big recent change, and I think it's kind of cool because Division III athletes don't really, I would say, get as much recognition as D1, I suppose, athletes.
We don't.
So this is yeah, exactly. You would know. This is a cool way to kind of get people to see what we do a little more, which is, I think, pretty cool.
You started off your diving career as a freshman. What were some of the challenges you faced? Were you naturally good at it at all, or was it something you had to continually try and get better at?
Well, I actually didn't dive at all before college. I walked onto the team my freshman year, and I had absolutely no experience of it at all, which was kind of crazy. But my roommate at the time, freshman year, he was on the swim team, and he said, we don't have any divers on the guys team right now, so, if you want to give it a try, come on, and my coach will just, kind of throw you into it, see what you can do. So I want to say it was literally the next day from having that talk, I went in and met with the coaches, and from there, I just kind of had to pick it up. I knew absolutely nothing, but within a month, I started getting the basics, and it was pretty fun. It was pretty cool. And then it started getting really challenging, and that's when I really started getting my big passion for the sport, which is nice because it's something that came into my life at a very unexpected time, which is interesting because it just adds a whole different level of to college that I didn't think I would get, having the sports team and everything. But it was really challenging because having no experience, it's a little nerve-wracking, especially when you're going into your first meet. I would say my first meet freshman year was the most nerve-wracking thing for me out of my whole career so far. But it went pretty well. You do what you got to do, you get it done, and you have fun while you're doing it, and it's pretty cool. It's fun.
Nice. So since you were kind of recruited by someone, have you ever tried recruiting somebody else?
Yeah, you see, it's really hard. I talk to a lot of people about diving, and I always try to the first step is just trying to, get them to be ooh, diving, that's pretty cool. But then it's a matter of having them find their time to come in, and it's a very different sport. It's not an easy sport, and it's just not your regular team sport. As much as I have my team, it's a very individualized sport. When you're up on that board, it's just you and no one else, and some people don't really like that. So yeah, it's kind of hard to find people to recruit. We usually try to go for cheerleaders or gymnasts. For me myself, I have some gymnastics background history. But yeah, no, it's a very uncommon sport, so that part's a little challenging. But our coaches at school, they do an amazing job with that. They're really on top of their game, trying to find as many people, as many good people, and divers I know especially. They're looking all over the place for them, trying our best to get as many as we can for upcoming years. So it's pretty nice.
And like you said before, you're still new to diving, and you just mentioned that you had gymnastics background. Any other athletics that you participated in before? Any other sports?
I want to say for about 8 years I played travel soccer, and I did some little things here and there, volleyball, whatnot. But coming to school, it was kind of like the thing, like, hey, this is something that could get me to be active again, get me back into the groove of having a sport in my life, and yeah, it was a perfect opportunity for me, which is pretty nice.
Do you have any like sports or like diving role models that you have looked up to or still look up to?
Yeah, there's a bunch. I would say my favorite one would be Steely Johnson. He's pretty cool. I watch he makes a lot of TikTok videos, which is cool. I kind of like that, and diving specifically is like one of the top sports that I'll watch. Like I just will watch it all day nonstop. It's so entertaining, and I mean I learned so much just from watching it, which is pretty cool. But yeah, he's won the Olympics a couple times. He was when was it? He just won some nationals recently. I forget the name of it though, but yeah, it was pretty cool. He's a really big diver, and he's definitely motivated me. Like I'll watch him for hours, and just like looking at the little things he does in his dives will help me when I'm in practice, which is cool. And it's like kind of interesting to see how like a sport like that, like just by watching and muscle memory and like the way you think of how your body's going to move affects the way you actually perform in your sport, which is really, really interesting.
In a lot of sports, teams can only watch tape to improve their game plans and performance. What's the process you have for watching film?
So we have a camera, which is right on the side of our pool. It's like hooked up to the bleachers there, and it has just a nice side view of our dives, and we can go back and play it back and stuff. We have a remote, which is pretty cool. So yeah, like if I either mess up on a dive, which happens more than you would think, I can then watch the video back and see the mistake that I made to then fix it, which is pretty cool because it's kind of just I'm in practice, like I'm doing the same thing over and over and over again, and then I'll watch it back over and over and over again, and I won't stop until I have it like down to a solid. But the cameras, they help tremendously because sometimes it's diving's like probably one of the biggest mental sports. It's like all mental. So when you're up on that board, like if you're messing up, the only way sometimes to actually fix yourself is to see what you're doing wrong. So that, yeah, cameras are really, really helpful for practice and whatnot.
Oftentimes, it feels like diving only gets mentioned like during the Olympic season. So how do you think diving can get more eyes on diving?
That's interesting, because I know for me, like growing up, I didn't really hear a lot about diving. From where I'm from, which is down by LBI, Manahawkin area, I don't think there's any pool for diving at all within like 30 minutes. So my whole life growing up, I never really heard of that. I honestly think like just building more pools for it, just having diving boards more accessible to high school kids, elementary school kids, like anyone, just at any level or any age, because I mean, I was 17 at the time I started diving, which kind of shows something. Like you can do anything whenever, however, as long as you put your mind to it and make it work. But yeah, I think making like more diving boards accessible, because out in Pennsylvania, I could list a handful of schools that I know that have diving boards, but in New Jersey, there's not really many.
Now, you guys came off a huge win against Ramapo on Saturday. What's that do for you guys overall as a team?
Yeah, I mean, Ramapo is one of our biggest rivals. It's nice to get not only a win, but a really big win. And there wasn't actually diving in the meet, just because Ramapo themselves, they don't actually have a board at their school, so they can't actually have divers unless they were to like use another pool. But in that sense, it's a little confusing and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, I was there. I cheered on my team, and they performed phenomenally. They did an exceptional job, and it was a really big win for our team. Yeah.
And a few weeks from now, you guys will face William Patterson. But after that, you guys have Mets. What's your approach going into Mets?
I will say I'm a little nervous. I had a concussion my freshman year, which unfortunately had to pull me from the Mets, which was our last championship. So yeah, I don't really have a sense of what it's like because most of the time when I'm diving against other schools, it's just one or two guys. So that's, I would say, less nerve-wracking. But now that I have to go up against every single diver from every school all at one pool and everyone's going to be watching me and I know a lot of them are better than me, it adds a big level of nerve, but also I'm very excited for it because it's something, I love the nerve, I love the thrill. And during a meet, there's no better feeling than when you're doing a dive and you're really nervous and then you get the dive done and then everyone's clapping for you when you come out of the water. It's a great feeling. So I'm excited for that just because Rutgers has a big pool. I haven't really dove many times at a big pool like that. And I'm excited to go with my team because I haven't had that experience to go with them yet, which is cool because it's like a 4-day meet. So we're there, we stay in hotel rooms, and it's a good team bonding experience that I'm excited for as well.
Now, also, to backtrack a little bit, you guys came back from your vacation, your annual training vacation.
Mm-hmm.
How was that experience for just having team bonding, especially coming back from a year of COVID and being able to somewhat leave again?
Yeah, so unfortunately for me, I didn't actually go on the trip this year for a couple of reasons, but one that kind of took it off the toll was I hurt my chest muscle in one of our lift practices, which was not too long before the trip, which kind of set off the whole, okay, I can't really go now. But from a bunch of my teammates that I talked to, it was really awesome. I got a training trip as well my freshman year, so I did get to experience something like that. And it's a great time. It's you're not here, you're not in New Jersey. It's not 20 degrees in the morning, but they did say it was a little cold because they only really have outdoor pools in Florida. So they said it was a little chilly, but training trips are great. They're a great way to bond with the team, great way to get a lot of practice time in. I mean, they were calling me and they were saying how exhausted they were because they had practice 2 hours, 2 times a day, 6 in the morning and then 1 in the afternoon. So each day they said they were waking up gassed, but they were getting through it and having fun. So yeah, training trips are a really good experience, not only for the team, but for our coaches too, because our coaches learn a lot about us. Because, I mean, we're only spending time with them when we're down there and whatnot. So, yeah, it's a pretty cool experience, I would say.
And I'm going to switch up gears, throw you a little curveball here.
Sure.
Now, I was told you enjoyed football, you enjoyed watching football. Is that true?
Sometimes, if it's on, yeah, I'll watch it.
All right, so what do you think about this weekend's past games?
From
the NFL level.
What I've watched and from what I've heard in my dorm room, it was an exciting weekend. I honestly was sitting in my dorm room and I was hearing yelling and screaming nonstop from so many rooms, and I was at first I was this has to be I don't even know what it was going on, and then I realized I was this has to be for all the games this weekend because it was I heard it was crazy.
Now, Alex, here's my goal. I want you guys to get a crowd like that. How would you feel if you guys get a big crowd, hearing all that cheering, all that roaring for you guys? What coming up next season with the swim team?
Yeah, I mean, getting a big audience for when we're at meets is awesome because the more people there, the more energy that we have, and the more energy we have, just the stronger we'll perform as a team collectively. And I mean, my team let alone, we experienced a lot of virtual meets last year during COVID, so we were the only team in the pool during the meet, and we were the only ones cheering each other on. But even then, it showed our team alone has enough energy to motivate each other and do our best, which is really cool. But having that added audience just adds a whole nother level of excitement to meets, and it really gives you a rush. It's a thrill. It's pretty fun.
Alex, thank you for your time, and maybe next season. Maybe WMSC covers some swim meets.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.